So this is the remaining part of A Dollar written by David Pinski, and in that till now we have studied that possession of dollar is now with that villain, and the villain is ruling the group members. So he even orders everybody to carry his luggage, and tragedian, old man, all women, they reluctantly followed his order, and they were starting to carry that luggage of this villain. So villain, first of all, he told to the tragedian, first put one of my bundles on your back. Then tragedian says, one of your bundles on my back, in rage. So that tragedian becomes angry at that time. Then that villain says, oh, for all I care, you can put it on your head or between your teeth. So he again very that possessively ordered him or directed him to take care of his luggage. Then old man says, we'll put the bundles on the trunk. So they carried the trunk in which all that those things were kept which were useful for their drama, and on that trunk that old man and the tragedian, they kept that bundle of villain luggage of villain. Comedian says, sitting up, look here, are you joking, are you in earnest? So again, comedian is not in mood to move from the place, because villain told them to move forward so that they can go for that town which was away from the place and 30 miles away from the place. But according to comedian, in the night it was not safe to travel from that place, so he wanted to take rest at that time or at that place. And again he asked this villain whether you have taken this decision seriously and honestly. Villain says, with that thought I did, I never joke. It is not joke actually. Whatever that action taken or decision taken is with that contempt. Comedian says, then you are in earnest, so you are serious that you have taken this decision. Again and again, this comedian was asking about whether the decision taken to move is seriously taken by villain or not. Villain says, I will make no explanations. So this is not actually that thing I should explain, but okay. Again and again he says, clarified that I am means this is the take that seriously taken decision. So a comedian says, do you really think that because you have the dollar? So again, see, this is how that possession of dollar gave him the power, and due to that villain was dominating all other group members, and the decision to go towards the town which was 30 miles away from that particular place. So everything was taken individually by this villain, and he has not taken consent of all other group members. So this is how that this comedian didn't like, and he wanted to resist that particular decision, thinking that this is not safe for all these group members. So comedian says, do you really think that because you have the dollar? And one more thing, that possession of dollar was misguiding this villain according to comedian. So villain says, the holy dollar, the almighty dollar, the king of kings, yes, I am taking this decision due to the capacity I have, and that capacity I could get due to this holy dollar or the dollar which I got recently. So comedian says that therefore you are the master. Now due to the money you became the master. So see, it's not that a good thing that once you get money you start thinking that you are the owner of other people, or all other people are slaves of yours. So this is actually inhuman according to comedian. And being a person, a good person, actually he didn't like such type of behavior of villain, and he wanted to make free all these people from his slavery. So villain says bread giver and provider. So I am the bread giver because I have money dollar, and that I will give you bread and I will give all other things. So you should follow me in that way. So here see this particular play is an allegory, or that symbolism is there in this play, as we have discussed in the beginning itself, because when you have such type of that capitalism, that the person who has money becomes the owner and ruler, or the powerful person in the society, and he tries to dominate other, as harass other, underestimate others. So in that case it should not happen in the society. And of course comedian is there who is against such type of mentality, and he resisted that actually. And in this way we find that in means this particular one act play is very significant, which reflects the very that reality in the world, where we find that money is the almighty thing, and we submit to the money. The person who has money, we always try to have our submission to that fellow. So villain says here, do what I bid you do. Means bid means tell or told here. Whatever I have told to you to do that thing. He here again very strictly told that comedian, that villain told to that comedian to follow his orders. So comedian says, so you are in earnest. So really, I felt that you are joking, man. But I think now you are very serious. You are repeatedly telling us to carry your luggage also. So villain says, you just get up, take the baggage and follow me. So he ordered again to follow him. Villain ordered the comedian. Now see, comedian says, rising, then I declare a revolution. See here, when in society you harass that powerless person, sometimes it's possible that all these powerless people, they can be united in that form. They can come forward and they can revolt against that person who is dominating or harassing or humiliating or making you that powerless one. So villain says, what a revolution. So see here it's very funny actually. Comedian says, I declare a revolution, but villain very seriously that takes this situation. What a revolution? Comedian says, a bloody one I need be. So for my group members, I am coming forward to oppose you, he says, and this is the revolution. I don't want to that the you are that harassment and you are the master of our group. So I don't like that thing. You should not be like that. Tragedian says, drooping his head or end of his trunk, and advancing with her that bellicose attitude toward the villain, and I shall be the first to let your blood, you scoundrel. So see, sometimes such situation that happens in the society, that there the initiator or the beginner we don't have, and we follow that person very reluctantly, who is dominant or is very that aggressive person. So in this way all these people were following that villain, but first of all that comedian came forward. He resisted that villain's that means dominance, and here the tragedian also united to this particular act of comedian. Tragedian said he put down all that luggage or trunk, and then he joined this comedian, and he told that villain that I shall be the first to let your blood, you scoundrel. So here tragedian is also against that villain. So one by one all these people, they joined comedian, and they resisted that act of villain, which was not good according to all these people. Villain says, if that is the case, I have nothing to say to you. Those who wish, come along. So here see again, villain surrenders the unity. He says that if you are taking this decision, you should not come with me, and other people will be with me according to that. Means whatever that happened up till now. So comedian says, getting in his way, no, you shall not go until you give up the dollar. So here the dollar is not of your own. This is that wealth of all we people. Together we share that dollar. So villain says, ha ha ha, it is to laugh. So it's not possible because I got that dollar and I am the owner. So I will not share it anyway. So this is how communist thought that comes in, and whatever that is earned by individual that can be shared, that should be shared according to communism, among all the people who are there in the form of one group. So this is how that capitalism and communism, these two are coming forward, and these two concepts you can get out of this one act play. If you go to these two principles or theories, you do have in that you have very contrasting ideas, and some people they follow that communism and some people they follow the capitalism. So in what way you think or whatever your attitude is, according to that you feel that sometimes that comedian is right in that position or in that situation, and some may feel that even that villain is good one. So being that follower of humanity, definitely most of us have that attitude that comedian is true and right in every situation, and this villain is not anyway appreciated by we all. So villain says again he wanted to tease all these people like this. See, such sounds are there to create the atmosphere which is very humorous one, and that can make us laugh also. Comedian says, then let there be blood. Turns up his sleeves. So comedian is now ready to fight with that villain. Tragedian says, taking off his coat. So blood. So we are literally ready to fight against you. They told to that villain. That old man also dropping his end of the trunk. I am not going to keep out of a fight. So he is actually against that fighting. A woman, all women, not a woman, all women, they dropping their all that sachets. Nor we. So all these were just standing by. They were not joining any of these two parties. So villain says, shouting, to whom shall I give up the dollar? You. So again he wanted to create that fighting among all the group members. Actually, when we demand our rights or some uh, possession we want in that way, we should be united in a group. If you demand something, definitely you get whatever you want, but in that case it is possible that the person who is the owner or the master can adopt the policy to divide and rule. So we should be careful in this situation also. So to whom shall I give up the dollar? So this is how that villain wanted to divide all the group, and he wanted to make everybody selfish so that they will not be united and they will fight among themselves. So this is how the strategy divide and rule is applied by this villain in this situation. So comedian says, this argument will not work anymore. You are to give the dollar up to all of us. At the first opportunity we will get change and divide it into equal parts. So comedian here suggests one idea that this is how that we should have that division of this dollar among all of us, and in that way we'll have some equal parts of this dollar, and in means that situation everybody will be happy after getting the money, the dollar. So women they appreciated the idea of dividing the dollar. Hooray, divide it, something like that. They appreciated the idea of dividing the dollar. Comedian says to villain, and I will even be so good as to give you a share. So comedian says, okay, this is a nice idea, and this is how we can share that $1 among us. Tragedian says, I would rather give him a sound thrashing. So here that support of tragedian was there to this comedian's idea. It shall be as I say, give up the dollar. So he again told to that villain, you should not keep the dollar with yourself, and this is that asset of every individual among us. So you should divide that dollar among all the people of this group. Heroine says, throwing herself on the comedian's breast, my comedian, my comedian. See here again this changing attitude of the heroine. You can see that she is not stick to any one of these two, that comedian or sometimes villain. So she's changing her party, and she's changing her that honesty, or that even she changes her love. So ingenue to the villain, I'm sick of you, give up the dollar. So here, when that idea came to distribute or divide that dollar among the group members, all these members of the group, one by one, that detached from that particular villain, they opposed that villain in reality. So comedian says, pushing the heroine aside. You better step aside, or else you may get the punch I aim at, master and bread giver. So see, in this way, here comedian is now going to beat or even fight against the villain. So this is how that we have to stop here. In the next recording or the video, we will continue that same. So let's stop here.